when grid fails. Now what? Welcome to Grid Down Guide. In a world where power can vanish in an instant, survival isn't just a skill, it's a necessity. We've got the know-how to keep you prepared. Whether you're in the heart of the city or lost in the wilderness, we teach you the essential skills to thrive. Stay tuned. The grid could fail tomorrow. Be ready today.
When the power grid fails in a war zone, it doesn't just get dark, it gets dangerous. It gets cold, it gets quiet in the worst way. You're no longer living with the conveniences of the modern world. You're surviving without them. Lights don't turn on. Faucets don't run. The heater stays silent. The fridge becomes a box of rotting hope. This isn't theory or prepper fantasy. These are true stories from ordinary people, mothers, fathers, kids, who faced the unimaginable and survived. And their experiences offer more than just inspiration. They offer lessons. The kind that could save your life if one day your world stops humming. Let's start in Kyiv, Ukraine. Winter 2022. The city was frozen under a pale gray sky, and the air was thick with smoke and fear. When the first missile struck, the power grid vanished almost instantly. No electricity, no water, no heat. The pipes froze. The stores closed. Communications stopped. Imagine it. You're standing in your kitchen with a sick child, a thermometer that doesn't work, a fridge that's gone warm, and a stove that doesn't light. One father, trying to help his feverish daughter, had no clean water. So he climbed onto the roof, scraped snow into a bucket, carried it downstairs, and melted it over a makeshift stove he'd built from bricks, scrap metal, and canned heat he'd bought years earlier. It took him 40 minutes to boil enough for one glass. He did it twice to make sure it was safe. Every drop mattered, every ounce of fuel calculated. That wasn't an emergency for him. That was his routine. The lesson? Water doesn't come out of the tap in a blackout. If you're lucky, you'll have snow or rain, but only the clean kind. And even that you'll need to boil or filter. Canned heat, alcohol stoves, solid fuels like hexamin. They're cheap now. They're priceless later. Further south in Aleppo, Syria, the situation in 2016 was different, but no less desperate. The city had already been bombed, battered, broken. No gas, no electricity. Most windows were shattered, and the nights were bitter. Inside a crumbling apartment building, a family of 5 huddled together in a bathroom. Not for privacy, for warmth. It was the smallest windowless room they had. They pulled mattresses into the bathtub, stacked blankets on top, and blocked the door with towels to trap body heat. One candle burned. They stayed like that for hours every night, listening to wind howl through broken glass and far-off artillery echo through the walls. It wasn't comfort, it wasn't even safe, but it was warmer than anywhere else. And in war, that was enough. The lesson there? Your best shelter in a grid-down disaster might be a place you'd never think of. Choose small windowless rooms. Use space blankets, sleeping bags, even bubble wrap to insulate yourself. Block drafts with towels, duct tape, trash bags, anything. When the temperature drops and the heater doesn't work, creativity becomes survival. In the Gaza Strip, 2014, survival was measured not in degrees but in calories. After bombings shut down roads and destroyed local markets, food became both a scarcity and a science. A single mother with 3 young kids was trapped in her apartment. She couldn't leave. There was no aid coming, and what she had in her pantry was all there would be. For days, maybe weeks. She cooked the same thing every day. Rice, lentils, canned beans. Sometimes all together. Sometimes just one. She kept a ration journal. She counted every bag, every can, crossed them off one by one. Not because she wanted to, but because that's how she kept her family from starving. The lesson? Stock foods that last. Rice, oats, dry lentils, canned meat, peanut butter, multivitamins. Rotate them. Track them. In survival, it's not about flavor. It's about fuel and making it last. But food and warmth aren't the only challenges when the lights go out. Sometimes the danger comes not from cold or hunger, but from other people. In Baghdad, Iraq, in 2004, one family found themselves listening in silence as footsteps approached their home late at night. No power. No police. No help. They had no weapons. Just a door. The father whispered to his children to be silent. They turned off every phone, every light, unplugged everything. They'd already blacked out the windows with cardboard and blankets days before. That night, they pushed a couch and a refrigerator against the door and waited. The intruders rattled the handle, knocked, waited, and eventually left. They survived, not because they fought, but because they were invisible. The lesson here is perhaps the most sobering. In some crises, silence is survival. Black out your windows completely. Reinforce your doors with whatever you have. Heavy furniture, metal bars, even a mattress. Turn off anything that makes noise. Alarms, phones, toys, radios. Let no light escape. Let no sound betray you. And finally, we go back further to Sarajevo, 1993. A war that dragged on for years. A city under siege. In a dark basement, a father, his wife, and their 2 children lived in near total isolation for almost 3 months. There were bombs outside, snipers in the hills, but inside he tried to keep his children whole. He made games from scraps of paper. They played hide and seek in the shadows, drew pictures by the flickering light of candles. He read stories, even when they had nothing left to read, making up tales from memory just to hold on to a routine. They didn't just need food or water. They needed normalcy, hope, a sense that tomorrow would come, and they'd still be a family when it did. That lesson may be the most human of them all. When disaster strikes, children need more than physical safety. They need emotional stability, quiet distractions, routine, comfort. Pack books, art kits, paper games, make up stories. Keep a schedule, meals at regular times, quiet time, even laughter if you can manage it. Protect their minds as much as their bodies. So what do these stories teach us, really? They teach us that survival isn't flashy. It's not cinematic. It's not a single moment of heroism. It's dozens of quiet, desperate decisions made right. It's melting snow. It's sleeping in a bathtub. It's turning lentils into lifelines. It's staying silent when you want to scream. It's drawing pictures in the dark. They lost power. They lost comfort. They lost the world they knew. But they didn't lose their lives. These aren't stories to scare you. They're stories to prepare you. Because one day it might not be Kyiv or Aleppo or Gaza. It might be your city, your block, your family. The grid is a fragile thread that ties us to modern life. And when it snaps, who will you be? What will you do? Will you panic? Or will you remember these stories? Will you have what you need, not just in your house, but in your head? Because if the lights go out tomorrow, if the shelves go bare, if the
Prepare now. Hands urgently pack emergency survival kit. Survive anything. Subscribe now. Grid Down Guide.